Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Saudara Menteri Pengangkutan, Saudara Anthony Loke, Siufuk, KSU Ghana, Saudara Muhammad Safwan, KSU, Jana, dan ramai lagi eksekutif yang ada, Kapten Raja Linggam, Tuan-Tuan Yang Terutama, dan rakan-rakan dari dalam dan luar negara. Seperti mana yang disebut oleh Menteri, ini satu kesempatan yang baik untuk kita berikan dukungan dan galakkan kepada industri maritime yang berkembang dan punya potensi yang sangat besar. Dan saya percaya dengan kehadiran rakan-rakan kita dapat melonjak kegiatan maritime di negara kita, kerana sewajarnya sebagai negara maritime kita agak rasa sedikit gusar kerana perkembangan industri itu tidak sealiran dan setimpal dengan kekuatan asas kita. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that Malaysia is a maritime nation, and it's a phenomenal success story in terms of if looking at the historical antecedents. We have seen the vibrancy of ports in Malaya, the Malay states at that time, namely Malacca, emerging as a major maritime port in the region and recognized internationally. So when you talk about globalization, people tend to associate it as essentially Western invention, which is not true. Look at China, look at India, look at the Malay states in the past. Trade and engagement between countries has been very much globalized. And you find cities from Malacca to Batavia, those are before Batawi, and Shanghai, Hong Kong, of course Mumbai. They were known as international ports. So we actually inherit a system which is not alien in terms of vibrancy, because we talk about thousands of ships even in those days. But what we find lacking, unfortunately, is we are not able to compete and exploit, utilize the present resources and innovate and improve the industry to be able to be playing a major role in the industry. So I think it is timely, therefore, as alluded to by the Minister, that the entire government, of course led by the Ministry of Transport, coordinate their efforts and give whatever is required to render the support so that the industry emerge as a stronger force and maritime business becoming more resilient, because shipping must continue to be considered as the bloodline that supports connectivity, which is an essential part of global trade. Now, I think it's more than 80%, almost 90% of Malaysia's export are done by sea transport or the maritime industry, which means in terms of costs, it is more competitive and fortunately is deemed to be competitive and efficient And we are proud to say that ports like Port Klang and PTP and Penang, among those ports who are emerging as to be more effective, competitive, and I believe with the support of the industry, we can then ensure that we are not only top 20, but probably under Minister Anthony Lok, we can reach to top 10, because we have the potential. What we need is the required support. The private sector must take the lead. And I can assure you, in the part of the government, we need to do more. Yes, we have not given that sort of focus and emphasis in the past. And through Ekonomi Madani and the new Industry Master Plan 2030, we will continue to establish good partnership with our neighbors and big trading partners, which we are fortunate to have, namely the United States, Europe, and China. Not many countries are fortunate to be in Malaysia, to be like in Malaysia, to be considered friendly to all these countries, and being part of APEC, CTPP, and having excellent engagements with the United States and Europe, and now increasing bilateral trade and relations with China. And in my meeting with the Russian Foreign Minister, I did indicate our interest to be part of BRICS. Now, the only consideration is, of course, trade, investments, and to be considered to be an independent country that can be used as a hub in terms of international trade between the West and the East. We have played that role in the past, and we should be able to be confident enough to determine our course of action, our priorities, our strategic interests defined on our own terms. Now, this dynamic neutrality will certainly bear results, because as a trading nation, we need to increase foreign trade, and Malaysian waters should remain a center in the area that is most welcoming to all. The maritime industry, to all countries who would like to continue to trade with us. And I therefore would assure the participants that whilst we have to confront with the geopolitical challenges, we will maintain this route of fiercely independent and neutral to be able to contain the negative forces and focus on what is considered to be our own priority and to protect the national interests. Now, the National Energy Transition Roadmap is our commitment. The government focus in building a greener economy, while the roadmap has set one key target for the maritime transport sector, and would call on participants to focus on this, because maritime transport sector, which is to have a low carbon fuel penetration of 40% by 2050, is considered to be one of the priorities. Now, consistent with this target, all the agencies and ministries, including Ministry of Finance, will have to adjust its policies, introduce new measures, even incentives, to make sure that the maritime industry can fully utilize and appreciate, and therefore to be seen to be emerging as a more formidable force in this region. So in our effort to both leverage global trends and to encourage investments into our country, it is imperative that we innovate now. So this is a challenge to the Malaysian maritime industry, because we do implement the Malaysian Maritime Single Window as a central digital database and common data source, an important step forward in the digitalization of the industry. So we'll make the adjustments. I concede, I don't claim to be a normal politician who would say that we have done our best already. No, we have not done so. We are here to learn from your experience and expertise, and we will be prepared. We are prepared to make the necessary adjustments, because the industry must improve. Safety is paramount, and the industry must therefore emerge as a competitive force which would certainly assist in the development of this country. Now, the IMO, the International Maritime Organization, has called upon its members to celebrate the World Maritime Day, now 50th anniversary of the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. The IMO set the theme, Navigating the Future, Safety First. Now, naturally, you are the experts, and you will have to then recommend what other measures that the Ministry of Transport, the Maritime Division, the industry, and the government generally should do, including the ratification of SOLAS Convention, signifying an ongoing commitment towards the betterment of safety for the life at sea. Now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is encouraging, therefore, to see so many of you present, both in the industry and also having the expertise. And the National Maritime Week would, of course, allow more of our citizens, particularly the young, to be able to be exposed to the experience and the contribution and understand all facets of the industry. So thank you again, YB Lok, Secretary General, and the Association for taking this opportunity. And as alluded to earlier by Minister Lok, my presence is generally to give and to render the support and the commitment, and to acknowledge the fact that more need to be done by the industry and by the government to ensure that we are able to excel in our efforts. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.